2 years ago, if you sat down with a network executive and pitched them the idea of a new TV show about a hermit crab shell with 2 pink shoes and 1 plastic eye that was shot on home video in your apartment, that network executive might just laugh you out of the room. But fast forward to now, if you pitched that same show idea today, you'd have a deal. They'd say, "Where do I sign?" That's because Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and that's what he's known as, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, has become the biggest small star of the comedy world on the web. And that's because his parents were behind him all the way, and they were there for him in the rough and tumble shell game of show business.
My name is Marcel, and I'm partially a shell, as you can see on my body, but I also have shoes and a face, so I like that about myself, and I like myself, and I have a lot of other good qualities as well.
Like the best animated films from Hollywood, it has something for adults to love and something for children to love. But unlike those films, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is done on this computer in this Brooklyn apartment by this nice couple who live with this nice dog and a small shell that talks.
Guess what I wear as a hat? What? A lentil. One time I nibbled on a piece of cheese and my cholesterol went up to 900. Guess what I used to tie my skis to my car? What? A hair.
The story of Marcel begins one night 2 years ago.
Jimmy, sleep!
She was a new cast member in her first season on SNL, and it was her dream. Jenny Slate, Ivy League educated, 27 years old, was already a well-known figure in the New York improv and sketch comedy world. The sketch she wrote that night was about 2 women bikers, and during rapid-fire dialogue that called for a substitute word, she dropped the F-bomb.
You freaking just threw an ashtray full of butts at my head? You know what? You stood up for yourself, and I love you for that.
You could see it on her face. She realized her mistake immediately. So did those watching in disbelief. She apologized, but her first season on SNL was her last, and the soul-searching began.
I wanted to be creative, but I was feeling like, well, I'm not sure if I'll go back to Saturday Night Live, and I feel like maybe I should just sit still and be quiet until someone tells me what the verdict is on me. And I think that began to make me feel feelings that were negative about myself, and it began to start to sort of taint this experience that I loved.
Guess what I use as a pen?
What?
I use a pen, but it takes the whole family.
In the comedy business, when the going gets tough, the tough make the best of what they can find around the house. And luckily for Jenny and her fiancé, filmmaker Dean, they already had a shell collection, 1 eye, plastic shoes, and Jenny's newly discovered comedic little boy voice.
Would you like to hear some?
And a star was born. And while Marcel is the Shecky of the shell community, as funny as it sounds, it can also be poignant.
My one regret in life is that I'll never have a dog. But sometimes I tie a hair to a piece of lint and I drag it around. Come, I love you. Come with me. Come.
The close-up photography and painstaking stop-action animation forced the couple to look more closely at their apartment as a soundstage, including sneakers, a slipper, and the dog who scares Marcel half to death.
Oh, God. I can smell his face.
But look closely at something else. Look at the number of times Marcel has been seen on YouTube. A lot of network prime time shows would kill for 14 million plus viewers. When the second installment hit the web, it had more viewers by its first night than a lot of popular cable news shows, and it's already up to over 3 million. Marcel's parents are proud and amazed. They've already written a book, and they're in talks to turn it into a TV show, which is the next logical step.
It's fun, as long as it's fun.
I agree. It's nice for us to do together because it's well-intentioned, but it's not pushing anything. But also, I like talking as Marcel because as a person, I can be sort of spastic, and I get flustered and like what I'm doing now. But Marcel speaks very clearly.
And then toward the end of our interview, Marcel joined the conversation, and he came ready to play. Has having 1 eye affected you in any way?
Has having one nose affected you in any way, Brian?
Fair point, Marcel.
Yeah, I like to keep it fair. I'm a straight shooter.
Touche.
Indeed. Ha ha ha.
Little guy gives as good as he gets. And by the way, tonight on our website, more of our interview with Marcel's parents, Jenny and Dean, including a frank discussion of his gender. That is Rock Center for tonight. For all the good folks who work so hard to bring this broadcast to you, thank you for being here with us. And by the way, special thanks as well to Chelsea Clinton and Ted Koppel, our newest colleagues around here. We sure look forward to bringing more of their work to you on this broadcast very soon. I'll see you tomorrow evening from this very studio for NBC Nightly News. For now, for all of us, good night from New York. Your late local news begins now.